Hello everybody, welcome back for yet another weekly look around the yard and gardens. Before we get into things too much, I want to let you know that this next week is going to be really crazy. I'm basically going to be away from my desktop. We're super duper busy because our son's getting married, so while your comments are always super important to me and I do everything I can to get back to them, I haven't figured out how to do that from my tablet yet. So there will be a delay before I get back to this week's comments. I'm not ignoring you. I just, like I say, haven't figured out how to do it on my tablet yet. So I will get back to you. I absolutely promise. In the meantime, let's take a look at what's growing on around here, and maybe we'll just chat about a few things. We shall see. You know, starting off, as some of you are aware, we have these apple trees in the front yard. This one here is the one that didn't produce anything last year. It's going absolutely nuts, and I was kind of waiting for them to take some color before I picked anything. I have sampled a few, but they've been painfully sour, almost sourpuss sour. But as you can see here on the ground, the tree says they're ready to come down. So, oh, here's my shadow again. Clearly, there's some cleanup work that needs to be done, and I'm thinking, last year I made homemade pectin. This year it would be kind of cool to make some sort of, I don't know, homemade apple cider, not necessarily a hard apple cider, but that would be nice too. But just some sort of fresh, natural, pioneer style apple juice. I don't have a press, so that complicates things somewhat. But there was a woman in town who gave me a recipe. Basically, I can core the apples and use some cream of tartar and a couple other things and just let them sit, and it will draw all of the juice out, and apparently it's really good. Tragically, I can't find the recipe though, so I'm going to have to track her down and ask her for another copy of that. But that'll be interesting, and if I can get said copy, that'll probably show up on the Bear in the Kitchen channel. So interesting, something to look forward to. Speaking of something to look forward to, I've got little tiny peppers on my Sugar Rush peach here. So far this is the one of the three up front that does have pepper starts on it, and there are a couple. So I'm very excited about that. As I've mentioned before, I'm kind of thinking it would be nice to bring one of or all three of these Sugar Rush peppers inside. Apparently this is just a bad day for shadows, but y'all know what I look like anyway. Proof it's me with the camera, you can tell by the hat. But this one definitely does look like it's gonna try and produce something outside for me this season. That would be great. But after the success with the sand dollar, I'm really quite excited to try overwintering peppers again. Maybe I'll get some more giants. That Primo there would be nice to overwinter too. Up to 2.2 million Scoville units. It's crazy. This yellow ghost is pretty exciting too. It's scary sort of exciting, but I'm prepared to take my chances. I grew it. I'll taste it. Y'all will see, because clearly I'm getting peppers out of this plant. Hopefully I won't have to do the Kentucky harvest thing, because it's in a pot to be transferred inside. So I'm hoping, you know, huge, bushy ghost pepper plant. That would be great. Over here we can see those pine berries that I got. These don't really seem to be any different from regular old strawberries, so I don't know if I've got anything exotic there or not, but there are a lot of fruit on there. I've had to pull a few off because I didn't notice them until it was too late and they went kind of moldy. But as you can see here, I've got lots of runners coming off of these. There's, you know, one tucked in there, one tucked in there. Well, that one's already become a plant on its own. I've also buried some of those moldy strawberries, hoping that they'll sprout. So we'll see what comes of that. It looks like this is going to be nicely filled in before too long, though. Strawberries are great. You get a couple, wait for the runners, before you know it, you've got a massive patch of delicious berries. Who knows what we're looking at here? Oh, bee. Here we've got one of the gooseberries. Looks like it's taking a little bit of color. Come here, you. So, let's give it a try, find out what it tastes like. Focus. Here we can see another one a little bit farther up the plant. Got a lot more color on it, so I guess these ones will change color when they're ready. Wish my camera would focus. It's a very funky looking fruit though. Yeah, cool, so let's try it. Well, here we go. First ripe gooseberry I can ever recall having in my life. Oh, that is a really interesting flavor. Yeah, I'm really glad I planted this. That's good. I tried one while they were still hard and green, and I may have mentioned this before. It was very much like an unripe plum. I don't know how to describe that ripe flavor though, other than that it's really good. Yep, nothing doing. Gonna have to manage this carefully and maybe try and propagate it. See if I can clone a few more of these. Some room there for another one. Maybe over here in front of the tree. That'd be good. Nice little wall of gooseberries there. It's all about long-term harvestability, isn't it? Just kind of the essence of homesteading, kind of the essence of permaculture. And the point is to reduce the grocery bill. That's one of the main reasons I garden at all. Because, well, quality fruit and veggies are expensive. And by gardening slash homesteading slash permaculture, I can get foods that just aren't really available in the grocery store. So it becomes worth all the weeding and the digging and the planting and the randomly driving for hours to go find new trees and bushes. So yeah. Ooh, speaking of which, I found, I think it was at the Crappy Tire, it was a plum tree that had 4 different varieties on it. So let me know in the comments below if you think I should invest in something that's got 4 different grafts on it, or if I should just get 4 different trees. There's a lot of you who have done this permaculture thing for a lot longer than I have, and I would really like to hear your advice on just what's gonna have a better chance of survivability with somebody like me and well, winters like we have here. Yeah, that's about it for that. So let's go take a look at the pepper patches, tomatoes, and yada yada that we've got in the big garden area. Finally got around to pulling those peas out of there. I don't think I have time to plant a fresh batch, but I'm going to anyway. And look at all those beans. There will definitely be some spicy pickled beans at some point this fall, but I've already put that up on the Bear in the Kitchen, so I won't be doing that again on the channel. Here we can see the pepper patch behind it. It's got some great growth. I'm really glad I put a couple of those along the back. Wouldn't necessarily be shading anything out because I've actually got better spacing this year, but better safe than sorry. I'll have to try and keep the planting order in mind next year, because for the most part this has worked out fairly well. Somebody was commenting the other day about I'm very lucky because I don't have much of an aphid problem on my outdoor garden, and that is because we do have an amazing wild ladybug population. Ooh, let's look at that pepper back there. I noticed the ladybug first, and look what that thing's sitting on. There's a couple of nice looking peppers there. This is the, I'm not even going to try and pronounce this. This is that pepper right there. But look at that. Not bad, not bad. And that's a pretty brave little ladybug. Doesn't seem to care that I'm moving the peppers all around. Another one there. Another one there. I think those are the invasive Japanese type. Not our red 7-spotted ladybugs, but could be wrong. Could be wrong. Oh, we've got another ladybug over there on the El Oro de Ecuador. The plant is doing very well. Haven't spotted any actual peppers on it yet, but all things in time, all things in time. You know, scrolling back down here closer towards me, you'll notice I still haven't moved those volunteer tomatoes. I really should, but they seem so happy. And they've started putting on flowers and fruit. So I guess I'm just going to take my chances, and this poor pepper behind it is just going to have to, well, cope. This bed has the nicest looking eggplant in the garden. No fruit forming on it yet, but I noticed a couple of flowers that were knocked off by some sort of critter. So hopefully we'll have time. Last year's eggplant didn't start to produce until it was way too late. So I started these early. I'm really hopeful. A wish or a prayer, you know, we'll see what happens there. We'll look behind this garden here. We've got my happily overgrown bunker garden. The corn actually looks pretty decent today, but we had a massive rain, so the actual soil in there, or compost I guess, happily moist enough to keep things growing. So looking around at some of the other random things in the garden, look at the color that Manitoba variety tomato is starting to take. I'm going to let that get as ripe as it possibly can before I take it in, because I do want to save some seeds from this. It looks like a nice productive tomato, and if I can get a good start on it, clearly it's going to produce for me. So that is really exciting. I'm hoping to save some seeds from this lemon boy over here in the middle too, because it has also been just very, very productive. Now, thinking of this particular patch, I took some viewer advice, and you'll notice that it's not all tomatoes or all pumpkins or whatever, and I separated things this year, and I think I'm really, really enjoying this because it makes it so much easier to see, you know, this is this tomato, this is this tomato, whereas last year when they were all kind of crammed together, I couldn't tell where one plant stopped and another began. So I think, A, that I am very grateful for this advice, many thanks to you for that, and B, this is something I'm going to continue to play with in the coming years, just to intersperse things in the garden. That's probably the wrong use of the word there, but y'all know what I'm driving at, I think. So, yeah. Well, we're still looking at this, though. This is that Sorcerer pumpkin, supposed to be a nice bright red when she's ready. Look at that, though. Getting some nice size to it. I'm afraid to move it too much because I don't want to break the stem, but I'm very hopeful for that. It would be very nice to see something come from that. Hopefully get some seeds. And over on the other one here, where'd you go? Where'd you go? That one's coming along nicely too. So that's very cool. Also very cool, let's go look back at the watermelons for a second. Now got quite a few little tiny watermelon starts on here. And these aren't going to be huge melons when they're done, but here's that one from the other week. Getting a fair bit bigger. I'm not quite sure how big it's going to be or what, but I'm really excited that there are so many little starts on here and that this one seems to be taking. So that is very cool. Tried to grow watermelons a couple times. Last year's were just shaded out and never had a chance. This year I kind of cheated, kind of played to win because I got starts. And if that's what I got to do to get watermelons grown in my garden, I don't mind. I mean, what was it, $3.50 or something for all of these various watermelon starts? I got like 6, I think, in the package. If I even get 1 watermelon, that's pretty darn close to covering the cost of that. And if I get 2, well then, I've turned a profit. So that is fabulous. Beside it here, look at that thing. Can you see that? That is freaking huge. Gonna have to figure out something to do with that soon, but not this week. The brassica moths are wiping out the leaves, but that's okay. I'm in that for the root anyway. Alright, and I think that is the point where I'm going to wrap it up for this particular week. Like I always say, thank you so much for joining me. I love having your company here on these little weekly garden visits, and I love the feedback that I get from you guys in the comments. So much good advice and just so much garden love. It's absolutely fabulous, and probably the main reason I keep doing these Sunday in the Garden videos. So, yeah, much love to everybody. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week ahead, and I promise I will get to those comments as soon as I can get back to my desktop. All right, take care, everybody.